Tobago on Tobago updates and viewers. Just before we get into our next conversation, I just have a public announcement of the temporary closure of the sales at Study Park Enterprise Limited, and this is information coming from them. Please be advised that the operations at the Study Park Enterprise Limited spell will be closed on Wednesday, 6 March 2024. Therefore, there will be no sale of materials to the public. Normal operations will resume on Thursday, 7th March 2024. And of course, they apologize in advance for any inconvenience that this may cause, and they thank their customers for their cooperation. All right, viewers, so getting into our next conversation this morning, as we continue to celebrate women in light of International Women's Day, it is my pleasure to be joined by Miss Kenya Yaya Kodnak. And of course, I mean, she is our top footballer in Tobago right now. And I would say top footballer because I think you probably are, out of men and women. So good morning and welcome to you.
Good morning. Thanks for having me here.
All right, great. So this morning we're going to be focusing a little bit on, women being involved in sport and that sort of thing. And you've had a very challenging journey when it comes to forging your way in football, especially. I mean, this is your passion, and you've continued to push ahead no matter what. What has that journey been like?
It had its good and it had its bad. But when you love something as much as I do, and I really love football, and it is my passion, from a young age, it has been a struggle for me growing up in the sport at the age of 6, because back in the days, like the kids have nowadays, back in the days, we didn't have all the necessities like the kids have now. So from a young age growing up playing the sports and having to struggle, Dwight York was one of my idols back in the days. Not now per se, but seeing how far he came from and how far he reached, I wanted to do the same thing and reach the same milestone as he did. And as you could see in my career, I struggled and struggled, and today the struggle has paid off.
How different is the journey for a woman in sport as opposed to a man?
It is a big difference because boys and men have a lot of opportunity, whereas girls don't have a lot of opportunity. But nowadays in the footballing world, you see that women are getting more and more opportunity because the gender equality in the football play is now coming into play. So female are getting more opportunity to go out there and show their talents.
And when it comes to even like the funding, payments for footballers and so on, I mean, how different is that for women, and is it changing?
Nowadays it is changing, but before, women had challenges with the pay compared to what men has been given. So women has always been the like, how to put it, the salary wasn't as much as the men, but we love the sport, so we still did it. But nowadays we've seen that the woman is much more competitive than the men. So now women are generating more funds into the footballing environment, whereas men doing the same thing, but women are generating more. Like, for instance, the last World Cup is 1.3 or 1.30 billion in Australia. And that's just from the women alone. So women are generating more funds into the women program nowadays.
So that's happening internationally?
Yes, internationally.
But what about back home in the Caribbean and in Trinidad and Tobago?
Well, we still have challenges in the Caribbean because, as you see, a lot of the national team players, they are pulling away from it because of funding and not the right, they're not putting enough emphasis in the women's program. So they're not giving the young women and the young ladies any encouragement to want to stand up and play for the country. And once you don't put anything into something that you want to see results of, you will not get a reaction out of the players that you want there.
And why do you think that is so, that prevails?
I mean, it comes from believing in the players that you have. And once you don't believe in them, you will not put anything into the sport, because a lot of talented young women and young girls in Trinidad and Tobago, and for far too long, we keep holding them back instead of pushing them to go forward. If I didn't take the initiative to go and do it on my own, I would have still been in Trinidad and Tobago.
And tell me about that. About you had to make for that yourself that decision to go out there because staying here will not get you as far as you've been wanting to go.
No, it was a decision that I needed to make for myself, because staying in Trinidad and Tobago is like having a bag of cement on your back. So, and when you go outside, they appreciate you for your talent. They make sure that what you give into them, they give back to you. And that's one of the things I try to like inspire to the youth of Trinidad and Tobago. Hence the reason why I come back and give back with my Monster Mentality Youth Tournament. Because I want these same kids to have the same opportunity that I have, because at the end of the day, they could be playing in the tournament and have eyes around seeing them, and they could get the same opportunities that I did.
Yes. And then let's talk a little bit more about that, just being able to share that knowledge here and inspire girls like yourself. What's that been like?
It's been really good, because a lot of the young boys and the young girls look up to me, and they always ask me for advice as to what does it take to be a professional footballer, an international footballer, even to go to college, because I've been down all these roads. And it's good for me to give them the knowledge as to the work that you need to put in, what you need to do, and it makes me feel good to always pass on my knowledge to them.
And I mean, when you're out there and you're competing and so on, like what is it, those feelings that come up in you, and knowing that you're just a young girl from Tobago, and you're able to just be there on that world stage and prove that women from here, young women from Tobago, can do big things too.
That's because that comes from me believing in God and believing in myself, because a lot of times we tend to forget that we are in a different country, and sometimes people want to give up because they are not home, and the challenges that you face in a different country is super hard. But I have to tell myself every time I'm out there and I'm playing, I am one of the best, and I will continue to be one of the best, because hence the reason why they offer me a contract to come and play here, because they know that I am one of the greatest and I'm out there doing what I love. So it's a great feeling to be out there and doing what I love, and I always score goal in every country that I go play football.
I know, and which is one reason why, out of all the footballers that we have in Tobago, you are the greatest right now. So I mean, and then how about just what's when you tell your stories or when you share your experiences with young women, especially here in Tobago, what is that like for them? What is the reactions and so on?
The reaction is always positive, because they are they are young women and young girls. They want to be like me or even better than me. So me giving them insight of what it takes, they really appreciate it, because say for instance, yesterday I was in a youth tournament in Lambo, and I had a couple of them come up to me and asking me what it takes, why it is I'm not going back to the national team, and I have to explain to them as to why and this type of stuff, and giving them insight that if you stay in this country, your footballing career as a young man and young woman will not go anywhere. You have to get out of this country, because we are too laid back and we don't do things in the way that a sportswoman or a sports girl need the knowledge of football to go forward.
And then how do you see yourself, even positioning, whether it's a little later down the road, to be able to make sure that we, at least in Tobago, can take football more seriously when it comes to our young girls?
And that's part of my plan when I put down the football. I will take up the coaching role, but more for the youths.
Yes.
Because you have to start them from young. And in this country, we start them from too old. And once you're too old, it is hard for you to start passing the ball at the age of 13 and 14. When teams are more advanced, you are now starting. So we have to start them young, get them from age 5 to 6 and start them coming up. So that is part of my plan when I finish with the football, to come and share my knowledge to the youths and to make sure that they understand the game, because they need to understand the game and not think that football is about dribbling and doing fancy stuff. That is not the game, because We have too many of them want to be like Ronaldo, Neymar, and Messi, and they don't know what it takes to be those type of players.
That's a very interesting point. A lot of people don't understand what it takes to
Yes,
get
they
there,
don't.
or even like what those footballers, what their journey has been like, and the discipline
Yeah.
and everything that goes into it.
Yes, correct.
And then, what about when you look at the talent pool that here that we have in Tobago? What do you see?
I see a lot of talent in Tobago, to be honest. Compare from back in the days to now, it have a lot of young girls that is very talented, but it's just for them to get the proper opportunity to showcase their talent.
And then, is there a lot of opportunities outside of Trinidad and Tobago for young girls?
Yes, there is a lot of opportunity. So, and that's where the discipline comes in, because sometimes we as young females and young women, we think that no one is looking at us. We can be how good, how talented, but once you are in discipline, no one will want you in their club. Or say, for instance, if you have an opportunity to go to college or high school, no one will want you there because discipline is a big factor in the footballing world.
And how was that even shaped? That having that discipline in sport, how has that shaped your life and your goals and how you approach things?
Having discipline is one of the biggest thing because for me, when I was young growing up, to be honest, I was very indisciplined. And when I left Trinidad and Tobago and I see how things is being done compared to back home, it changed your whole perspective of your way of life and how you do things. So now you have to have discipline in order to do anything or to be good at anything that you do in life, because being in discipline will get you nowhere. And I had us to take that initiative just by being outside in the outside world and seeing how things is done differently to be more disciplined in football and in life in general.
That's great to hear. And then, what's next for Yaya? So,
What next to me? As of now, waiting. I have some offers, but I'm just still waiting to see which one is the best one and which one comes first. So as of now, I'm home and I'm relaxing, but the monster's still keeping in shape and doing her work and all of that.
oh yes, we're not done with you yet. We know we got a whole lot more, and we're just let me say everybody really is excited to see your journey and every achievement that you're able to have. It's something that we all celebrate here in Tobago. And as we're getting ready to wrap this interview, what are some of the words that you would like to leave with young women, especially here in Tobago?
I will say that sky is the limit, and if you have a dream, you go after it. Because a lot of people will tell you that you're not good enough. You have to decide if those people's word is more effective or your words. So you have to continue to believe in yourself. If you have a dream to go out and play cricket, basketball, football, whatever is sporting discipline, you go after it with no hesitation. Sky has no limit. Keep reaching and keep doing what you love.
Great. Thank you so much, Yaya, and best of luck. And we're waiting to see you back out there on the world stage.
Thank you for having me.
All right, viewers. Well, that's how we're going to have to wrap the show this morning. I want to thank you so much for joining us. And yes, all through this week, we will be focusing on women because it's International Women's Day on March 8th. So hope you have a safe and wonderful day, and we will see you again tomorrow. Bye for now.
I say thanks a favor to wake up and hear me neighbor. 60,000 people strong.